Okay, welcome to Beats and Barbarians. We are ready to go. The players are all logged in. Sorry that we're a few minutes late if you are just joining us and watching us today. That we had a few technical difficulties logging in due to some rule updates. So I'm just going to do a few updates in our channels everywhere, and we'll get on. So meanwhile, while I'm copying and pasting, let's introduce you to our notorious barbarians ready for blood and guts. So starting with Garcold and working our way across the top corner there. Feel free to introduce yourself. When you're finished, please put an X in the chat channel so the next player can take over. Go ahead, Garcold.
All right. Garcold is a brother. He was looking for his sister who was taken from. We just recently recovered her, although she was abused physically, mentally, etc., etc. Don't need to go into that. But he looks like your typical barbarian. He has a loincloth full of cursed gold that you will occasionally hear. And it swings a big two-handed great. That's about it.
Go ahead, Ymir.
Hi, my name's Mel. I'll be playing Ymir. I'm a young sorceress from the Ivory Savannah.
Here I'm Spike. I'll be playing Fulgrim tonight. Ymir's protector and lover. He's also a eunuch and carries around a big two-handed axe.
Yeah, I'm Rich and I play Rastan. He is currently the chieftain of Caledon. Unfortunately, last chieftain died in a massacre, which we're trying to avenge. But it turns out the people we were avenging against were my old sister, my sister that I thought had died, and my boyfriend Andos Rao, who turned out to be king under the mountain. We've killed the Andos, but unfortunately my sister survived and is now in charge of the savages that have proceeded to chase us in previous games. Unfortunately, we've come across some other problems, such as the Barbarians, and they're on our back. So it's non-stop in this game. It's really good. Rastan is currently wielding 2 battle axes, and he is a killer machine.
Go ahead, Turnus.
I am Turnus, a former soldier of the Imperial Guard of Faber Terra, now working for Rastan and Carla, Queen of Caledon, as her general. Love Alicini came seeking for Turnus in the wilderness and found him, and drawing his fate, and maybe the fate of his friends, back toward the great city. That's me done.
Go ahead, Darb. You're not coming through if you're speaking, Dar.
Oops, I am Silver Eagle 82. I play Dar. That's a Beastmaster and has a great connection with animals and helping bring animals to help defend Caledon. from the basically savages. He has a big love for all the people within the village. Doesn't really want to see them hurt. That's it.
Thank you. Rastan, Fulgrim are dragging that severed head of Molbath, the giant serpent that your mayor slew in the swamps of despair, after she was captured by cannibals, dragging her off through the icy waste of the battle that was being fought to defend Caledon, their burnt and destroyed homeland, hoping to drag her back for sacrifice within the halls of the Mountain King. But Fulgrim and Rastan raced after her, only to find themselves with an old enemy, a humongous serpent of Molbath. Yamea cast in fire magic, burnt it to cinders, and they come racing back across the dead that's litter the whole of the snowy waste outside Caledon. Everybody's cheering as the rest of the cannibals are racing off into the distance. Ah! Ah! Rastan! Turn us! Ah! Go, go, go! And they're clapping your backs, hugging you in their moments of triumph. Suddenly, the ground begins to shake. Distant thunder fills the air. You look about you in confusion, as does any of the enemy that are still in the area. The air is then filled with the sounds of bronze trumpets. As cavalry comes galloping from the south and poured down towards the remaining of the battle that is still being fought in small pockets. In their hundreds, these cavalry come. Their banners of Fabatarius snap in the wind, displaying the imperial golden eagle upon a royal blue background. The armies of their mountain king turn and run back into the swamps. Again the cheering erupts from the Caledons, but then falls swiftly silent as the cavalry begin to circle the survivors, as a legion of foot soldiers begins to crest the hill behind them, their armour almost in musical rhythm coming down the hill. Riding forth from the cavalry, wearing a gleaming helm upon his head, a warrior calls towards everyone. Tribe of the borderland, I am Commander Tiberius. Troops of the Royal Guard have been slain in your territory. Therefore, by order of Emperor Dunstan the 12th, your lands and lives are forfeit. Resist, and you will be cut down where you stand. Surrender, and you will have the honour to serve the Iron Kingdoms. What will it be, barbarians? He awaits your answer, and the air hangs thick. Go ahead, Rastan.
I'll step forward. Can we get close to this Tiberius?
As you do, cavalry come forward and they drop their lances towards you. Gleaming bronze-tipped spears. They keep you at bay.
That's fine. I'll let them touch my chest as if to show no fear.
They tinily pierce your breast, and trickles of blood pour down, but you show no emotion at all. You stand fast and square-shouldered.
Greeting, Tiberius. You've caught us at a bad time. We just fended off savages from the mountains. You may have heard of them. Surely you give us some respite to heal our wounds and perhaps eat and sleep. You're more than welcome to camp in our lands. We will meet tomorrow.
He nods. And who is it I am speaking to?
I am Rastan, chieftain of Caladan.
I see, Rastan, chieftain of Caladan, servant of Fabritaria. We will accept your hospitality and camp on your lands, under my guard and rulership. As Turnos, as you are about to step forward, Alicini, bursting through the crowd and grabbing hold of Turnus's arms and digs her fingernails into his very flesh, speaks. Commander! Oh, at last you have come. Those filthy barbarian cannibals were going to eat me, says the Princess of Fabritaria. If it was not for this brave action, for the brave action of one of your guards that you sent to find me, Alicini turns to Turnos and stares intently, her eyes wide. The legionnaire Marcus here was valiant and slew many of the beasts and bravely defended me as we tried to make our way south through the battlefield that these barbarians risked their life and limb to defend. Tiberius looks to Alicini. Lady Valvarian, you are still alive. The Emperor's son will be pleased to see you safely return to the capital. Turning his attention to Turnos, he says, Well, Marcus, what do you have to say for yourself?
I step forward, shoulder to shoulder with Rastan, and I gesture toward the hills, and I say, you see that army yonder fleeing to the hills? I gesture to our own band, to our own ramparts, and I say, they broke on these walls. They fled before these warriors. Cannot merely demand our surrender without terms honorable to warriors. In this, I stand with
just as you're about to speak and say stand with, Alicini digs her fingernails into your arms. As you turn and look at her eyes go wide, and you see her very softly shake her head, warning you.
Okay, so
and she's sort of pulling you towards her away from Rastan.
I in my body, but I don't shift. I bring my speech, which request for honourable terms, which is actually what they gave originally.
Yes.
And then cease speaking.
Yeah, you then bite your tongue. Rastan, you go to speak, but the general puts his hand up and interrupts you. Commander puts his hand up and interrupts you. Chieftain Rastan, I see that you and your people have defended this place valiantly in a true spirit of Fabritaria. I have given you the honour to serve the Iron Kingdoms, and you will fight for us. I have heard of you, Barbarian, on my travels here to the north. Perhaps seen to your people, then join me in my tent. We will discuss what's happened here. Go ahead, Rastan.
Yeah, I'll look at Turnos and say, not now, not today. And I'll say to the General, of course, General, just give us a bit of respite. Unfortunately, our hospitalities are not great here. As you can see, our village has been burnt down and we've lost most of our people. We're quite low on food. So we'll give you what we can, but not much. Let me speak to my people, and I'll see you in the morning.
You will come to my tent. We have much to talk. See to your people and see me tonight. And he turns to his men. Captain, bring in the legionnaires. Set up camp around these ruins. Break out some food for these people. And he looks to you and nods. And then wheels his horse around. Come, cavalry, we'll chase these barbarians into the swamps. And the cavalry race off towards the swamps. Go ahead, Garcold.
Rasta, I thought you were actually going to go fight. I'm surprised.
Garcold, that would be the death of us all, and I don't want that. There's another day to fight. Trust me.
And as you say that, your eyes, both of you, cast across the ruins of Caledon. You can see there's women and children and the elderly dotted around the place. And they're all looking to you for salvation and for protection. Go ahead, Yamea.
You err on the side of wisdom yet again, Rastan. It seems I must get used to this new thoughtfulness of yours.
But I'm calm and I'm tired and hungry.
Carla walks up. My chieftain, my lover, she says. Oh, it's been Carla onto the screen just. It would help if I went to the images.
I look quite downtrodden. So, Cara, I think I'm lost.
I think you chose wisely. We may have beaten the cannibals, but ourselves are exhausted. We need rest. But I don't know what that Alicini is doing. She looks to you, Yamea, as Alicini pulls Turnos away and towards the encampment. Hang on a second while we just pause the stream. There we go. It just crashed, so hopefully that's got it up and running. Right, so we're back again. Technical difficulty there. It had a bit of a glitch on the Twitch. Carla's saying to you, Rastan. Yes, I don't know what she's playing at. And she looks to you also, Yamea. And Alicini is dragging Turnos away from you all towards the Legionnaires. Oh, hang on a second, Turnos. I will come to you. Go ahead, Yamea. Oh, no, you were next, Turnos. Sorry.
Okay, I say, hold, Alicini. I'll speak moment. And I quickly go to Rastan, and I butt into the conversation. Rastan, consider, sometimes does take into its service complete bands of warriors recruited from the frontiers. But we need to make sure we get good terms. You don't want to be simply walking into slavery. In the meantime, I will try to find out what's going on with Alicini, what part of this puzzle we don't yet know.
Just remind Alicini, she owes us a lot, her life.
Indeed.
And don't worry, we will never be slaves. One day, we'll rule Praetorteria and the Barbarians.
Indeed. Emperor Rasta. What a day that would be.
Oh dear. Most people just want a magic item, not Rastan. Go ahead. Is it alright we jump to Fulgrim and then
Sure.
come back to Turnos? To Yamea? Okay.
Rastam, brother. Be careful of this one, Arsini. Maybe she is trying to distance him from us and get him to go back to Barbateria and forget us, no?
Fulgrim, you know Charles as much as I. He will never turn his back on us.
Yes,
He's a
I
brother.
know. I know, but women are strange creatures.
I don't think even that woman could turn us back against us. You may try.
I think this is a good time to go over to Yamea. Go ahead, Yamea.
Ymaya's got a bemused look on her face as she's looking at
So is Carla.
And then she turns back to Rastan and Carla and says, perhaps Alicini is simply trying to protect herself and Turnos. She knows these people better than we do. She knows their ways. If I was not incorrect, there was a small amount of fear in her eyes.
Surmise that she knows what these Fabertarians are capable of. That's why she's scared. But we could use them to our advantage. We need them as much as they need us. We're a fighting race. Yes, we can fight. We'll fight for them, against them. We won't fight against their friends. Definitely not. That's when the tide will turn. And that's when we'll turn against them.
At that, Turnos, you are being dragged away by Alicini.
Oh, Alicini. That you know.
Speak to me carefully. Turnos, we're now in the watchful eyes of the Fabertarian Royal Guard. These are
I recognize some of them.
They are not mere common soldiers. These are elite warriors. That's the Domastan's crest. They bear. It would make sense if they would come to far north just to look for me, especially when the messengers did not return. I distance you for the protection of them. I don't know what's going on here, but we need to be on a side where we can influence. Our
By
weapon
them
now.
by them you mean us.
She looks down. Forgive me. Yes, the barbarians. Turnos.
Us. So curious my outlook has changed these years I've been away.
I'm not surprised since your father sent you away to deny it. And she looks away. Tears sort of form in her eyes. And she looks off to the south. Denied the future that we both wished. Don't think for 1 second I want to return to Fabertarian. A fate of worse than death waits for me there. I do not want to marry Emperor Damastan's son. And she looks to you. It's you. You got to rescue me, she said. I got to keep you close. I'm going to tell the commander I need a personal bodyguard because I don't feel safe. And remember, you are to be called Marcus. Don't let them call you. You can't be called Turnus. We don't know which of these people here are working for the assassin.
Okay. I will be Marcus. Maybe My face has changed somewhat due to the rigors of the north. People won't know who I am.
Yes. It's wise that you do not speak to the barbarians for some time, but keep a close eye on them. Or if you go meet them, stealthily. Now, come Legionnaire, she says, as a troop of guards, of hoplites make their way towards you. We need to get to safety. She gets all hoity with you. The guards stop. Princess Alatini, Commander Tiberius has commanded us to escort you to safety. I will not go anywhere without my bodyguard. I trust him. He's risked much to save me. I do not wish to be betrayed, and I have no knowledge of any of you. Please forgive my rudeness. They all look amongst themselves. We've just been joined by the actual writer of Beasts and Barbarians. I think that's you, isn't it? Who's just commented in the chat channel. It's more than that. One of them carries the axe of Helene, but we'll get to that shortly. But I need him to be by my side, if that is okay, Legionnaire. It is, your highness. And they all nod to you, Turnos. By your leave.
I stand to attention and follow her.
You leave the barbarians as they're all huddled together, talking to the survivors of Caledon.
Give Rastan a last a meaningful look, and then follow her into the Faber-Terran camp.
Tents are being erected about the battle site. You are starting to turn to mingle with the survivors of the Battle of Caledon, when suddenly, out of the crowd, a woman comes racing towards you. She's got a tattered dress on her. It's all covered in, sludge and water stain from the melting ice and snow that covers the landscape about you. Grarcold, are you there?
Yes.
She stops. It's your sister. You've got to come quickly. She's been moonstruck.
Oh, okay. And I start running off.
Hordan has possessed her mind. The madness has taken her. You turn and you race after her. You weave your way through the crowd that are all gathered around your sister. Like a rabid dog, she's sort of huddled and crouched underneath a wagon, growling away. I'm not sure if we've actually got a picture of Bria. Did we have Bria still? Yes, we do. We've got Bria. There she is. Long dark hair and her ragged clothes. All down her arms, you can still see the chunks of flesh that's been missing where the cannibals have taken chunks out of it. Thank you for the follow, Eru. Battered and bruised, she crouches under the wagon, snarling at people, her eyes rolling in the back of her head. And you come racing round to see her. Bria is savage and hissing and spitting at anyone that comes near her. I think our stream's just died, so we're going to have a quick pause and I'm going to restart it. Right, we are back. Just getting set up again. I think I spelled his name right. Okay, so we are back again after the glitch. We tend to get a few glitches during the live streams. It's my connection isn't the best. Oh, has it? Cheers, Harfin. Okay, so we've got Bria underneath the wagon, snarling and spitting away. As Graco, you approach.
Does she even look like she recognizes me?
At first, she doesn't.
Bria, it's me, your brother, Graco.
She hears your voice, and her eyes sort of focus, and she starts to quiver and shake and tremble. And she's reaching out with her hands. Graco.
I approach her and grab her and
you
say,
pull her in
fine.
tight. She shakes in your hand, your arms. Graco, I thought they were coming for me and feast on my flesh. The devourers. I see them in my mind, she says. Hands shake as I grab her forehead.
Yeah, it's fine now. It'll take time, but eventually you'll get over this. I know it won't be easy, but I'll be here for you.
Don't leave me cold.
I won't, but let's first find someone to help heal these. I don't like the look of them.
Yeah, they look off colour all around the flesh. And where did go ahead, Graco, it's your scene.
Is Yamea nearby? I'll say, Yamea, can you assist?
Yeah, you call out to Yamea, as you can just see her walking off with Fulgrim into a different direction. And Yamea, hearing your name call, you turn.
My sister's wounds, I'm not skilled in the healing arts. Is there anything that you can do, or maybe something that you can ease her mind so she doesn't have these ongoing nightmares of the ordeal she went through?
Ah, yes. Let me tend to her wounds and see what I can do, Graco.
My thanks. Whatever you need, I will try to find.
Okay. And with that, Yamea starts tending and putting poultices and pastes onto Bria's wounds. We've got a bit lagging on the stream again, but hopefully it'll catch up. As you're walking through the encampment of the Fabaturnians, Turnos, I will just share that bit of observation with you. As we go into the next chapter. You help the townsfolk and the villagers. You help out as well, gathering them up, making sure everybody is safe. Evening falls, and Rastan, you enter the tent of General Tiberius. Ah, Chieftain Rastan, you have come to see me as I requested. Thank you.
I did, General. Time is short.
We will be heading to Phalantium in the morning, and your people will need to be ready for the march south.
General, you're making demands that we cannot reach. You see my people, there's elderly, there's sick, there's children. We're all injured and we're all tired.
We have food, and we have a support wagons that follow the armies. Your people will be safe there.
Now, you said you've heard of me.
Yes. As we've been travelling north, we've heard of Caledon, and we come across some stragglers. They said that they came to the aid of Caledon against some cannibals, led by a god, they called him. I had to see this god for myself. And now I see you are just but a man.
I am but a man, and I do not deny that. Some people may think differently. You've heard of my ways, and you do know my temper. You cannot demand of us. I don't mind being in partnership. If you can supply us strength,
Partnership.
then we can supply you strength.
Barbarian, you forget. You're already in the employ of the Barbarian, here in the north, protecting us in the borderlands.
That is correct. But what protection have we received? Surely you're a warrior yourself. You can't just take.
He nods.
And that's all the Barbarians have done. They've not helped us one bit. Apart from today, when you've turned up with food, which I'm grateful for. My townfolk really need.
I've turned up for more than food. Rastan, I can see that you're an intelligent man. But you're in no place to make demands. I won't lie to you. You see, we have come here. We are in need of your help. For there is trouble in the south.
Help is what we can do. I don't mind helping. That's what we're good at.
It was
as long
actually.
as it's against
Sorry, he says, but it was actually Chieftain Kane I was hoping to see. But after what we witnessed, you defending your rubble and ash valiantly, and it's impressive. It's what we need.
If you was here before, it wasn't just rubble and ash. It was a good town, with good folk, hard workers, and a fighter, every one of them.
Suddenly,
you come too late.
Suddenly outside, you hear a commotion. There's a clash of steel, and it's calls and fights and growls and curses. You race outside. You can see that the Northmen are all being rounded up and put in chains. Svensson and his remaining men smacked unconscious or run through. Go ahead.
Just get me back. General, what is the meaning of this?
What do you mean, what's the meaning? The Northheimers, this is what you've been employed to do, is protect our lands from them. They enter our lands, they're forfeit. They will be taken to Fabricarian for trial of crimes against their nation. Thank you, Chieftain Rastan, for bringing them to us. Gather your people, and you will be seen safely to Phalantium. where you will
You forget
receive
that.
your just
Not-
reward. And he turns
Not no.
to his tent, ignoring you.
No, I'm following him.
The guards stepping away, bringing their spears crossed in front of you.
I suggest if you want to lose your heads, you'd move your spears. I need to speak to the general. Not all North asked out. Not all Northheimers represent their clans and their country. These men are good men.
He stops when you turn round. Oh, there are more Northheimers amongst you? If there are, I look forward to you bringing them to me.
Not amongst us. For in the North, these come down to help us. They're our friends.
That is unfortunate. But the law is the law. And he looks to you. And you threaten another Fabritorian guard again. And the law will come down mighty upon you and your people. There are sick children and women here. You've told me yourself. And he looks at you with his steely eyes. Meet your gaze. That'll be all, Barbarian. And he turns and goes into his tent.
I'll whisper under my breath. It won't be all. This is not the end of it. I'm gritting my teeth. I've probably got blood on my gums. Yeah, this ain't. And then two guards that stop me, I'll remember their face.
You look into them, they've got their helms on, so you get to see parts of their faces. You look in, try to measure their soul. Okay, guys. Long days pass as you are marched south across the barren hills. There is little food and water. The Legion is relentless in its journey across the snow, eager to get to warmer climates. Commander Tiberius seems to have forgotten any talk of Northmen, but Svensson and his men are chained and are dragged along. Those that were slain, their corpses are left amongst the ruins of Caledon for the crows to feast upon. After a few days, the snow is receding. Just a dusting of frost now, you have travelled to the southern regions of the borderlands. The troops have made camp and all of you are huddled together. At least in the chill evening's wind, you are all kept warm by each other's closeness. You reflect on the past few weeks, the destruction of Caledon, the rescue of the townsfolk from the halls of the Mountain King, and the death of Cain, and the betrayal of the cultists from whom you stole the Book of Helene, that led you to the axe of Helene deep in the swamps of despair, that Fulgrim grips in his very hand now, and the visions from the priestess of Hordan, Yamea. But all of that has reunited you with the loved ones that were captured by the cannibals. Okay, we'll have a quick interlude by you all. Oh, love. Everybody but Turnos. You have a few minutes, open mic. Whoever wishes, the first X up starts it. Go ahead, Fulgrim.
Rastan, we fought well, brother, over the last few days to defend our lands and our great nation. It will rise again, for the love is still there. We will prevail. Have faith. We all stand together. We all stand strong. We will get through this, brother.
I agree, Fulgrim. But yet we've fought so hard and so long, yet to be taken away from Caledon. We will be back. I promise you that. That fool general thinks he owns us. Well, what a mistake he's made. One day, I'll meet him in a dark place, and he won't be smiling so smug.
Brother, he does not own us. We own him, yes?
he can be our bitch.
Go ahead, Garkold.
Rastan, I know your sister is involved with what happened to my sister. I can't promise that in my moment of weakness I may, put your sister to the sword for what she's done to her.
I understand that, Garkold. Love I had for my sister was strong. I don't believe that's her anymore. She's been taken over by some darkness that I don't believe even I can get rid of. But no, Garkold, you're more of a brother to me than what she is a sister to me at the moment. I wouldn't blame you if you put them to the sword.
Thank
Because
you,
I know
Rastan.
a love between brother and sister is very strong. And I hope your sister recovers.
Thank you, Rastan.
Yumea.
As we're walking along, I'll say to Carla, "So, my queen, how is the babe? And how are you doing?"
She pulls apart some of her tunic. You can see the bump forming. The baby felt its first taste of battle. I'm sure I swallowed blood, so he could feast upon it and come out as strong as Rastan himself. And she looks back to the huddled group and looks at him lovingly. I just hope I can be the mother that he will love. And I hope that he grows as strong as Rastan, and that my father, wherever he lays now, looks down upon us and is proud.
I have no doubt of that, my queen. Any children that you and Rastan bear, they will be strong. They will be powerful, I am sure. And they will have a great story to tell ahead of them.
I carry Rastan's legacy. It's a burden that I fear that I will fail him. I mustn't. He is everything to me, Rastan. My father doted upon him. I can see why. And then the pair of you join the camp to be with Fulgrim and Rastan. Go ahead, Rastan.
As I see him approach, say, sit, Carla, sit. I need closeness.
You all notice that as Carla wraps her arm around Rastan and rests her head upon his shoulder, that just sitting slightly off from you all is Dar, and he seems very quiet. He's poking around in the gravel covered in frost. Go ahead, Rastan.
I said, Dar, come join us by the fire. You're going to want to hear what I've got to say. It might lighten the mood.
I just don't know about the oncoming forces that came towards us. But my love for this village, the nature around it, keeps me going.
That's
Go.
good, Dar.
Go ahead, Fulgrim.
Let it all get.
Keep going, Rastan.
Let that love burn in your soul. Because one day we will come back. We'll rebuild it. And Fulgrim, have your say and I'll tell you.
Dar, my friend, did you find the small child you were looking for?
I couldn't find my loss anywhere. I don't know where he went.
Damn it, Dar. I am sorry. We will find him together.
Especially that the camp is big and vast. Meanwhile, not so far away in the same camp, Alicini turns to you, Turnos. She looks over her shoulder to ensure that you are both alone. Oh, Turnos, my love. I mean, Marcus. What are we going to do?
Moment, my dear. I think we just have to continue this pretense. I'm hoping that when we get back to whatever that looks like now, we'll be as an auxiliary unit in the Empire. I mean, why I came to the wilderness in the first place is there aren't as many regular regiments as there used to be, and they are employing more auxiliaries from the frontier. So if we can just slot in and then work out how much freedom we have to get ourselves in a better situation. We've got to keep you out of the way of that Emperor's son as well. I'll be with you all the time as your bodyguard. We'll have to take it as we come until we can be sure of the plans we make. We have to also come up with a way of staying in touch with the others. That's reliable and easy. Might be an idea, Alicini, if you a handmaid. We can use one of the girls in our from the population of Caledon, messages to and forth to Rastan. Think of that.
That's a good idea. But we are being watched closely, Turnos. And at that, you can see a couple of guards shift nearby and one look over his shoulder at you.
And I look back.
He nods.
Straight into his eyes.
Yeah, he nods.
I nod
Acknowledges
as
you.
well. Go away.
For days, the army continues marching southwards. As the days pass by, the Fabricarians scowl at the Barbarians and they begin to keep their distance. Go ahead, Rastan.
I'll say on each night of camp, I wanted to tell a story. So, let's do the next night.
So you can do the story now if you wish.
As we all sit around a campfire, all huddled up, I say, Fulgrim, Carla, I found a weakness in that general. Now he said he's on the road, he bumped into some travellers that have heard of Caladan and myself. Now they told him that I was a god, which is laughable, as you all know.
Oh, he's so fixated.
But even if there's an inkling of my power in his brain, that's a weakness that I want to unfold. So let's not feel moody and show them that they've got us, they're holding us, we're entrapped. Let's sing a song of Caladan. And I'll stand up, I say, people of Caladan. So we may have left our land, that's only dirt and brick. We are Caladan. It stays within our heart, always. And let's join me in a song for all these Fabertarians to hear. And I'll start singing one of our battle songs of home and love and honour and battle and stuff. Hopefully I'm not the only one.
Yeah, you start, but slowly more Caledons begin to join in. Go ahead, Fulgrim.
The misty mountains.
It is early in the next day. Grarcold. You hear a scream that stirs you from your rest. You snap out of your grogginess and you realise that it is your sister.
run toward him.
You race across the camp to where you see 3 troopers dragging her towards their tent.
Stop! What are you doing? That's my sister.
None of your concerns, barbarian. Let me just get rid of a few people off our combat tracker as they draw weapons and come towards you. Nope, they're on there already, so just put that over there. It's you I need to put on. Yeah. What do you do?
I pull my sword because
They snarl. Get him while I have some fun. The 2 of them rush towards you. Oh, let's try doing a initiative. Do you have first strike?
I do.
So if 1's busy, 2. Oh, if I lock the tokens, always lock the tokens. Schoolboy error. And so he comes racing towards you. Strikes you with his iron sword. Running towards you, he leaps in the air, thrusting down with his blade. Rah! You bring the glare up in a sweeping motion to defend, cutting him out of the sky. Oh! Cutting straight through his stomach. He drops to the side and dies. Oh, next one. There he is. Have you improved first strike?
Not yet. Soon.
Soon, he says. Very soon. Ah! As you twist around and spin to face the other one with a blade up, just pointing towards him, the other warrior comes racing in, swings out with his sword. You thrust up, parrying away, locking blades, and you push him back, and as he backpedal, crashes into the table to his side, gritting. Argh! It's your turn.
I swing my greatsword at him.
Push back, he staggers. You bring the blade round in a huge sweeping arc, cutting through him, and he's felled. Splat.
I move up towards the guy who he has my sister.
Yes. So your blade rips through his abdomen, spilling his intestines onto the floor as he's trying to claw them in, and he falls forward. Ah! And then you steam into the next guy.
And I can either make this quick and painless, or then I smile and say, or long and excruciatingly painful for you. Please choose the latter.
You murderer! And he steps in, goes to draw his weapon. So it's your turn.
Oh.
Yeah, you've beat him to it.
Painless it is.
Oh, with a raise. You bring the blade up, swiping it down. You cleave him in two. Blood sprays everywhere.
I grab my sister and start heading back towards Rastan. Obviously, I don't want to be around.
Right, just seeing the outcome of that. Right, hang on, got that there. Okay, you make your way back across the camp towards Rastan after making short work of the Barbarian hoplites. still wearing fresh blood dripping on your skin, and your sister clasped into your side, trembling, her eyes wide, muttering to herself, "Flesh eaters, I'm going to eat my flesh." Garcold.
I wake Rastan if he isn't already, and say, "Those bastards tried to take my sister."
What happened?
3 of them tried to abduct my sister and rape her. I can only assume.
And I can only assume what you did to them.
Yeah, they made a quick end, but I fear that this may stir up more problems for us. I just wanted to let you know immediately.
Clear the blood off you.
Yeah, just as you're saying that, Turnos, the commotion outside in the camp stirs you from the tent, with Alicini looking from another tent nearby, looks to you with confusion on her face. Seems to be coming from the centre of the tent near the Barbarians encampment. And you can hear the screams, people dying.
Stay in the... I will go and have a look. So I pick up my shield and gear and towards the area, looking as Faber-Terran as I can in my non-gear.
Yes, you snatch up a Faber-Terran shield anyway and a sword from the encampment, and you start making your way towards them. You see your mayor rising from one of the tents up ahead. You haven't seen them in days.
Okay, so do I see the...
No.
So I don't see any corpses yet?
Not yet. You've not made it that far. But your mayor's obviously stirred from the tent to hear the commotion. And your mayor, as you step out the tent, you see Turnus making his way towards the commotion, armed.
I glance at her eyes, I raise an eyebrow, and I continue walking towards the commotion.
Do you talk to him at all, you may?
No, but I'll wake Fulgrim.
As you and Fulgrim get out the tent and start making towards the area of the commotion, Turnos, you've arrived at the scene of the crime. You see there's many guards around the place, standing over 3 slain Fabertarian hoplites.
Say, what transpires here?
There's been a murder, Legionnaire, says the captain as he comes around a corner from behind you. Seems like one of the barbarians has lost his mind. At that, you see behind you, over your shoulder, a troop of Praetorians being led by Tiberius. And you can just see them heading towards Rastan's location. Go ahead, Yemaya.
I look to Fulgrim. My love. Should we go to Rastan?
Of course we should go to Rastan. He needs all the help we can get.
I'll nod and then I'll follow him that way.
You arrive just as the commander is addressing Rastan. Rastan, Commander Tiberius and a dozen Praetorians arrive.
Just before they arrive, I wanted to speak to Dar very quietly.
Yeah, you're just calling over Dart and they're just arriving as you do. You don't get any time to converse. Rastan, I need to be speaking to you about an incident that's just happened. And a captain comes in, whispers in his ear. He nods.
And which incident is this?
And he looks over to Garcold, covered in blood. And looks back to you. If we are to travel together amicably, Rastan, we must have an understanding.
General, you must relay information to your guards, not to try and rape our women. We are not slaves, we are not prisoners.
He looks concerned.
This is what happens. So under Fabertarian law, any sexual assault against a non-slave, non-prisoner is death. This is what happened to your men. They were going to rape Garcold's sister.
Absolutely. Did they?
They did not. Fortunately, I was there to stop them.
Did you bring them to trial for their crimes?
They drew swords. I figured that was their sentence right there.
Under Fabertarian law, you will be apprehended for questioning. Take him. And the Praetorian guards will pass you toward Garcold. Make sure the prisoner is well looked after. And he looks to you, Rastan, with a bit of respect. We will make sure he is dealt correctly.
Thank you, General.
Would you like to be present when we question him?
Of course.
He smokes. He nods.
But could you relay information, obviously, to your men to leave our women alone? Because the same would happen to 100 of your men if they touched my wife.
The same would happen to any man who touched any man's wife, he said. I agree.
Yeah, I agree.
And just at that, Turnos, you turn up just as he says that. And so would happen to any man who touched another man's wife. And he says, we will take him into custody. We will also need to question the woman regarding what's happened. Get her side of the story.
Just a warning, General. The woman was a captive of the savages, and he's not quite right in the head. So I suggest we have your mayor looking after her.
Who's your mayor? At that, your mayor.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, you step forward. Will you be able to look after this woman? He says.
I am an adept healer.
She mustn't leave your side. And I will need you present to reassure her of her safety when we question her.
You may just nods and goes to stand by.
The Fabertarian guards go up to Garcold, grab his arms and start to walk him off, and they clasp chained manacles around his arms and like his wrists. Go ahead, Garcold.
I look to Bria and I say, don't worry, Yamea will take care of you. And then I look at Rastan and kind of nodded.
Go ahead, Rastan.
Be brave, Garcold. Hopefully the chief here will look after you well. And know not to hurt you.
He turns to one of the captains of his personal guard. Ensure he is safe. Nobody's to go near the barbarian until we're ready to question him. Yes, my lord. They turn and they leave. Let's hope the rest of the journey goes uneventful, Rastan. Oh, he says, loud enough for you all to hear. Rastan, make that the last demand you make of a Fabertarian commander.
Well, nothing, Commander.
He
Just
nods.
ask politely.
Good, he says. Let's keep it that way. Politeness. While we're still friends.
Indeed.
And he follows his men as Grako's walked away in chains. He stops by Fulgrim, looks you up. You're a little tall for a barbarian of the borderlands. Fulgrim?
I was brought up here.
I see. He looks to you, Rastan. I'm glad you've not found any more Northheims. And leaves. You are all then left to your own devices. Turnos, you are a moment with the group. Overlooked that you've been left behind. So you may interact if you wish, or you may walk away and keep your cover. Go ahead, Turnos.
I speak to Rastan, and I just mentioned the plan I've had of getting Alicini a maidservant from the ranks of his civilians. So there happens to be one he thinks would be very good. Nominate her, and I can get Alicini to ask for her. I also obviously say to them that I'm still with the group. They can rely on me. And I say to him as well, just before I go, I think whilst we're here, we ought to just look around the running order of the march, where the soldiers are, the vulnerabilities of this column, in case something goes really, really wrong and we have to just try and fight our way out of this vice that we are held in. Good luck, Rastan, and the rest of you. I shall return to Alicini.
And just before you go, Fulgrim.
I'd like to play a card, but I'd like the group, if it's possible, or maybe probably you, come up with an idea of like.
Play the card. Let's see what happens. This could be the woman that Turnos is talking about. Making his plan actually work.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, because you'd be able to do the favours and stuff. They had the maid. Yeah, does everybody agree with that? Let's put a vote. There we go. Tick for yes for the handmaiden, cross for something else. Well, the majority vote there. You don't. Whoever put a cross there, tough. Okay, so Rastan, you was also addressing Dar, wasn't it?
I was before the commander come up, but I was going to get Dar to do something. But I'll address everyone else. This is going to keep happening. I believe the commander sent him 3 guards. This is going to keep happening, and each one of us is going to end up in chains. We've got to put a stop to this sooner rather than later.
Go ahead, Turnos.
Okay, playing a card, and this is a card. The idea I'm trying to push forward is the maid that we choose for Alicini, who's within our ranks. General Tiberius fancies her.
He has been...
So that's
yes.
going to bring her in to the
It's-
center of
Yes,
the system.
it's more than just a maid. He's particularly brought her along because he's away from his home and has brought himself a little bit of a fancy bit with him. Okay, what's her name?
Marcella.
Marcella. Okay.
Oh, do you want to put it into the chat channel? I barely made that out. So, we got a love interest on Tiberius, which is a bit different to what the card says. But I don't mind it when the players come up with something that's a little bit out of the ordinary and really makes good story. Got to go with it. What was her name? Marcella. Marcella, the maid. And Turncoat. All good play with. Different cards, isn't it? Different use of the cards. Well done, guys.
A good new card.
Yeah, yeah. It's nice to see them being played. Different sort of game at the moment. We had that mass battle last session. You can watch the mass battle if anybody's viewing on our website, www.gmdonline.co.uk. Just look on one of the MVP posts for Beasts and the Barbarians. Session 18, I think, has got the first sort of live stream that we've done. This is session 19. Loads have gone on. We've been playing this for ages, year. Okay, so, and the plot thickens. With that, Turnos slinks away. As you arrive back, well, let's do that then. Let's bring Marcella into it. We ain't got no images yet, but I'll sort one out and some stats. But as you return to Alicini, you go to check in on her. Suddenly, her and another woman starts. The woman is dressed in a pretty looking peplos, which is a shoulder clasp dress with a belt round the waist and goes down to her ankles. And for a slave, she's quite pretty. And she's got her hair all curled and flowers around like a little crown on her head. And she wears finery on her arms, like bronzed bracelets as gifts. Alicina says, "It's okay. This is Marcus. He's here to help us. Marcus, this is the woman that you wanted me to find. It's Marcella."
Hello, Marcella.
And she looks to the floor. "Hello there."
I want you to take care of Alicini in all things, and also when you are required to go to the other side of camp, Chieftain Rastan's spot, fully informed on what's going on there, and you will let us know everything. And if we require to send a message, I'd like you to do that as well.
"Yes, Dominus. But what if I get caught?"
You won't be doing anything risky at all. Merely, I mean, you go in and out of that part of camp anyway every day, since you one of us. So it's just to keep Alicini here informed of what her friends are doing. For I mean, we lived with them for months and became close.
Okay, so I've just been sent a picture from Marcella by her reference, and I think it's perfectly suited. So I've just had to go and open up and Photoshop, resize it, and bring it into the game. So Dominus, you want me to go into the camp?
Yes. Well, I mean, remember, this is me
Yes.
speaking out of character. Remember, my plan was to have her as
Your eyes.
Ratstan's civilians. We are hiring as a maid, Alicini, but also Tiberius ends up fancying her.
Yes. Got it.
I just say, because she goes to and fro to the camp where the rest of her relatives are, she merely will convey messages to and fro should her mistress say so.
Got it. I was a little distracted making the image. Yes, she says, okay, so maybe I can take nice fresh fruit to the good commander and win his favour.
Yes. Well, do as you see fit. You're a competent maid, and if I need you in the future, I will summon you, or Alicini will.
She turns to the Highness and curtsies. Your Highness. And then she curtsies to you. Dominus. And then she leaves. You better leave, Marcus, before we're caught.
That's our underground hotline set up.
She nods. Let's hope this works. Days pass as you head off south once more. But during the evening of a second day of the journey from this point, which is a good week now, and you're almost at Valentium, a hoplite makes his way to your tent. Turnos. Marcus, Commander Tiberius wishes to address you. Will you follow me?
I will come. I follow him.
You are summoned to Tiberius's tent. As you enter through the flaps to the tent, a cold wind rushes up your spine. Standing over a makeshift table with a map on and troop movements, Tiberius ushers out the captain standing with him. He absent-mindedly moves a piece on the map, then turns to you. The movement of troops is a taxing business, don't you agree, Legionnaire? Marcus, wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
How are you finding your time in the camp, Marcus? Please come, have a drink. And he pours you some wine.
I'm looking forward to seeing home again.
And where was home?
I was the son of a soldier in Faberterra.
Let's see.
Won't have heard of him. He died in the Southern Border Wars 3 years ago, I think.
Then let us drink to his passing. And he holds his
My
wine
father, Mezentius.
To Mezentius. And he takes a swig of his wine in honour of him. How is the princess?
Princess is comfortable. She treated in the wilderness by the cannibals you saw attacking the camp those weeks ago. But I think she is recovering. But it's not my place as her bodyguard to mind well. If you want to know her mind, you should ask her maid. They're both quite close.
Her maid? Yes, I will converse with her. The maid's name?
Marcella.
Marcella. Okay, it's a pretty name. Reminds me of a woman I knew once in Faberterra. I've been away for a long time. The journey has been hard on us all, and I think it is time for a little sport, don't you? cheer up the barbarians. And the
I
troops
look
are
down at the map he has spread out before him, and I say, "So, General, what will it be?"
You've been amongst the barbarians. Which of them would you say are the strongest or the most impressive fighters? Your gaze looks upon the map, and you can see there's troop movements around the southern borders of Fabatarian, heading out towards the savannas and that. Seems to be trouble down there, it looks.
I would say, sir, the band of warriors, the command of Rastan, are an elite corps of troops. I have seen them take on many times their number. I cannot pick out one particular person out of that group, or even. I would say, quite honestly, may I speak? Hey, sir.
Go ahead, Legionnaire.
The Northmen you have chained, I presume taking back for sport in the arena. They were on our side. They came over to us, and at a certain, they helped reinforcements and saved the day. I would even go so far as to say that Princess Alicini's life may not have been intact now if they hadn't have come. There's a great evil that lives in the northern mountains, and it's not people that live there, it's a different kind of evil. And some of them came over to us to fight against a common foe. And I would say having them in chains and spending their lives as gladiators for the entertainment of the plebs, it's not as good a job as putting them towards actually being our soldiers to fight the enemies of the Emperor.
I totally agree, Legionnaire Marcus. But you are mistaken. I am not taking them for the honour of fighting in the arena. No. They are going to their deaths. But you've given me a great idea. A great idea indeed. And he picks up a fruit from the table, an apple, and takes a bite out of it. Legionnaire! He shouts. And a legionnaire comes in from the tent. My lord, send for Rastan and his personal guards. I think we'll have some sport. Let's see what these barbarians are worth. Let's see how much moons we will pay them to fight in her battles. Do you think I need a heavy purse, Telos? Marcus. He doesn't.
Need a heavy purse? You mean in a bet?
To pay their wages for fighting. If they're as good as you say, they're going to need to be paid well.
Oh, well, you should certainly pay them well. Of course, the better they're paid, the more the less of a chance trouble. I would say some of these northern troops are, if we can get them to fight on our side, they're very effective.
We will see. And he smiles. Come with me. I need to escort you.
Okay.
Oh. Just send a quick whisper. Okay, to answer somebody's question. Okay, where did we get to? Yeah, so he leads you out of the tent into the camp. Meanwhile, the guards arrive at your campfire, Rastan. Chieftain Rastan.
What have we done now?
Nothing. Commander Tiberius wishes to speak to you. Will you come this way, please?
By your command. That's like sarcastic.
He nods, turns on his heels, and escorts you away. Dar, you are sitting by another camp, gazing into the fire, a little bit solemn, worried that you haven't found Milos yet. A guard walks up to you. Is it Dar?
Yes. Well, here's the thing. Rue probably would have alerted me that someone was coming anyway.
Yep.
Yes, I am Dar.
Commander Tiberius wishes to speak to you. Will you come this way?
As long as you don't mind me having my pets near, my animals near with me as I come.
Oh, you broke me.
As it gives them literally a
You broke me.
start.
I'm such a child. I can't handle it. Right. So. I can't handle it. You've done me again. You've done me again. He says to you, Dar, your animals are not permitted. You will have to have somebody look after them until you return.
Who do I see near a camp that I've actually trusted enough near the area?
You can see Yamea and Fulgrim.
Yamea, would you watch Rue and Kodo and Podo? Truck somewhere around here. Probably out hunting.
Of course, Dar.
And just as you answer Dar, a guard walks up to the pair of you, Yamea and Fulgrim. Are you Fulgrim?
Yes.
You've got to be. You match the description. Tiberius wishes to speak to you. Will you come this way, please?
Very good.
And you follow the guards.
When that happens, Kodo and Podo will probably curl up near Yamea. Just
Yep.
get warm.
As you approach, as you follow the guards, a commotion is building up and towards the centre of the encampment. And as you approach the commotion, a ring has been formed by hoplite warriors with their shields. And in the centre, you see Sven, his men, and Grakold, all shackled together. So no Xing up at the moment. I'll come to your X if it's appropriate in a minute, Dar. Before them, Commander Tiberius addresses everyone within earshot. The journey has been tiring, and we are almost at Valentinum. To let us have some entertainment in the way of gladiatorium, as suggested by the saviour of the princess, Marcus. The crowd roars approvingly. One side we will have the Northmen, Horde, and who were best to face this savage adversary but the infamous barbarians of the borderland. Come forth, Rastan, Fulgrim and Dar. Let us see if you will truly be champions in Fabritaria. The crowd turn and start cheering you. Ooh, 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 ooh. What do you do? Go ahead, Fulgrim.
My lord, that man there, Grakold, he is not a Northman, he is one of us. Are we to fight these people to the death?
If you're too afraid to fight, we understand.
I am the mighty Fulgrim. I am not afraid to fight, but I am not fighting my kinsman Grakhold.
The choice is yours, mighty Fulgrim. Now, and the crowd are chanting, Fulgrim, Fulgrim, come on, show us what you're made of, big man. You see, they've got no weapons and you've got no weapons either. So it looks like it's going to be a big fist fight.
Right, non-lethal.
Go ahead, Rastan.
I'll walk into the centre of the ring. I'll say, surely you should send us a bit of a challenge. Perhaps some of your guys, Commander.
What I hear of you, Rastan, and your men, and Marcus has told me, he says. And Marcus, you see Turnos standing beside the commander. We will see if you are worth the moons that you will be earning. And he smiles. Dart?
Oh, I was gonna go, what's going on? I was literally thinking, what's going on here?
Yeah, I totally
He
missed
had
your
no
access,
clue.
sorry. But do you step in? Do you step in, Dart?
Yes, to prove I can come out victor. Yes.
Oh, only leaves Fulgrim. They're all cheering, Rastan, Rastan, Rastan,
I'll
Dart,
step in
Dart.
for a hand. I'm not chopping people up with my axe that are my friend.
No, you haven't got your axe. It's just fists.
Yeah, I'll step in then, please.
Oh, I forgot to put Sven on. Let me just grab Sven. Oh no, I have put Sven. It's Grakhold I have. Yeah, Grakhold's there as well. Okay. Yeah, let's get everybody set up. You see a guard goes in as they lock the shields behind you and unchains the Northman and Grakhold. And then they step out. And what we got? We need... Give me back my cursor. Fulgrim. We need Dar. Fulgrim, can you make a vigor roll and see if over the course of the journey you have recovered your wound? I can't see it. Yes. Okay, you can remove your wound. It's naturally healed. Have I got Rastan on the combat track? I haven't. Okay, so Rastan, Dar, and Fulgrim. I guess either side of Rastan. Go ahead, Rastan.
I'm going to shout over to the crowd. That big northern bastard there pointed at Sven. I said, he's mine.
Sven smiles. If only. If only. And he nods wantingly. And he gives you a wink. They've played a love interest on Sven and Rastan. So... That's it. Brilliant. As you go, you hear Commander Tiberius once more shout, "Spectators, in Gladiatorium, it wouldn't be fair if we didn't have weapons." And they throw down short swords. And he looks to the Northman and Grakhold. The last one of you three that are standing will be freed. Begin! Fulgrim. Rastan. Oh, I've got the wrong.
I was about to say.
You're in disguise. Let's swap you around. There we go. There you go. Unlock the tokens.
Much Rastan.
Rastan, go ahead.
I'm charging.
There's a block right in the middle. You run up, you leap off of the block, coming over the head, and you bring your fist down towards Sven, screaming
Sorry,
and bellowing.
I haven't got an unarmed attack on my.
Oh, right. If anybody's not got an armed attack, just create a new attack in and label it fist and foot, and then we melee, and that's just strength. And I'll quickly come in and put all your damage on if you haven't already. Dar, have you got it? And you haven't. So quickly, just there we go. Brilliant, thank you. Okay, there you go. With your fists, but there's 3 swords on the floor, and he said the last 3 barbarians, Northmen standing out of you 4. Sorry, the last one out of you 4, on you included out of the barbarians up there, will earn their freedom. So, Rastan, you charge forward and you lay into Sven.
As I'm laying into him, I want to see if I can talk to him.
Of course you can. You can role play while you fight.
Quietly.
Yep, no worries. The crowd are cheering. Ah, get him! Bite his ear off! Shouts a random guard.
Right, I'll punch him and then try and bite his ear off.
And then you start whispering in his ear lovingly.
Exactly.
Oh, no, okay. You mean you're going to conspire. Okay, can we have the attack roll first? Ooh, damage. As you leap in the air, you punch him straight across the face. Poof. He spits. Do you want to Benny that?
No. I don't
we have
know.
blood and guts setting rule in place.
As I'm trying to bite his ear off, I say, Sven, you've got to get out of here. We're going to make a distraction. Let's push you through this crowd.
Kill the other 3. No, we'll be free. And you hope your woman punches better than you do. I've had children fight me harder. Dar. Dar, 5, 4.
I'm moving up to that one.
You race forward. As you see, these barbarians are all racing towards those short swords. You block his path. Body slamming him. Coming up with an uppercut. Poof. Oh, hang on. Have these got... I'm not had to look at any of their... Sven would have had first strike. Hang on, I've got to do a first strike on... as he tries to Spartan kick Rastan. Oh, I've got to put their unarmed attack on as well. Okay. Just give me a second while I get these set up with their unarmed attacks.
No worries.
My bad. Lazy GMing.
No, you just had too much going on.
It's very kind of you. Okay, so they should now have fist attack there, and I need Sven. I'm going to have to do it from their the character sheet because obviously updated before the thing. Is that because it's not easy go, or is it because I've not targeted? 7's a miss anyway. I'll check your parry there, 8. So he swung out, and then you've whispered into his ear, and you're rolling around, and he's called you a big girl. So, Dar, you race forward, and you strike out, punch him with the uppercut. Oh, that was a bit of a lag, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So,
I
damage, please. Do you want to Benny that?
Nope.
Alright, you punch him and you... Little man, he says as he towers over you. These barbarians are like Fulgrim. They're 6 foot tall, bulging muscles, blue wool still
Then
smudged
I'm
all over their
equal to
face.
height. I'm equaling them.
He still calls you little man because you're scrawny compared to him. So, Svensson tries to knee you. There it is. Oh, just go for Jim Benny. Ah, come on. Story of my life. They hate me. The dice hate me.
I'll have a counter attack.
Hang on a second. You can have a counter attack. I give up. He swings. You duck under, punching him straight into the gut. Oh! It's like a hammer blow. And you go. Oh! Have you caused any damage?
Nah.
No. He staggers back a couple of steps as you lower down with this huge blow to his gut.
Well, each time I'm hitting him, I want to get him closer and closer to the edge of the ring.
Yeah. You're going to need to do a push maneuver. Grarkold.
I guess I'll join in the one on Dark, because, I'm sure Rastan is buddy,
You remember the Frabitarian commander's words echoing in your ear. The last one alive. Oh, he said left standing. But
I thought he left standing.
Yeah, left standing. But there's 3 swords there.
I'll if they don't have swords yet, I will just beat them.
Okay. You're racing against the barbarian. Northlander. Oh. You knock him for 6. He's not expecting this. Your fist comes up, hits him in the side of the face. It's like boom. His eyes are rolling the sockets as he staggers into the shields, and you can see there are 2 or 3 men deep, and they all push back, and the barbarian bounces into the pair of you, but he's shaken. Go ahead, Dar.
Playing a card on the damage that.
Oh,
double
I
the
wish you'd
damage.
tell me that before I'd... Okay, there we go. So that'd be 18. 2 raises. So he hits the shield. As he comes back, you bring your elbow up and he crack his jaw up into his... so they break teeth and everything. His eyes roll as he collapses to the floor. The guards nearby drag their sword. The shield's open slightly. The swords come out and they run him through. He's dead. And Commander Tiberius shouts, "Of course, when I say left standing, I mean dead." Fulgrim. Oh, Gurkha, go ahead.
Cancel that. I was going to say something, but now that changed.
You're going about to say it, and it comes out of the commander's mouth. Fulgrim.
Upon hearing those words, I go and pick the sword up and stab the other barbarian.
Ruthless. Ruthless. Do-do-do-do. Just quickly give you a sword stat. Melee. Strength. They're only little short swords. D6. Excellent. Oh, it's not like the big axe that you like. As you snatch up that sword, the crowd go wild and they start chanting Fulgrim's name. It was Rastan Dar, and then Fulgrim's name echoes through the camp. Fulgrim, Fulgrim. Yamea, you can hear Fulgrim's name echo through the camp down towards you. What do? Roll damage, Fulgrim.
She's looking around at Rue and the two little ferrets, and she looks to Bria, who she really doesn't want to leave alone as well. And she's kind of just going to stay there, but she's going to be really fidgety.
You pace backwards and forwards. Bria says to you, you don't think Grako's there, do you?
I surely hope not, but they took most of our men away.
But then the crowd go wild and it drowns out your words. As Fulgrim runs the blade through, lifts the barbarian up and then tosses him towards the wall. He clashes against the wall and just slumps to the floor, blood sprayed all over it. And they cheer you, banging their weapons against the shields. Have I just deleted both? Oh yeah, they didn't last long, did they? Right, Grakold.
I look over at Rastan and say, well, one left. What are we doing?
2 left. Rastan.
I'm going to play a card.
Oh, right, okay.
And then I'm going to basically try and pick this Spencer up and ram him through the shield. I'm also going to play another card with it.
First of all, it needs a feat of strength to pick this guy up. He's huge. Combat, test of grapple, fighting first. You've got to beat him in grappling. Oh, he's only got a 3. Oh, sod that. He's got bennies. Fighting, I said, didn't I? Where's his fighting? Ah, there it is. Found it. Oh! You've been under tie, though.
Stands +2 because of Joker.
Oh, yes, of course. But I was still going to re-roll to try to beat it. +2 for your Joker as well. Yeah, well pointed out to us. You snatch him up off the ground. You heave him above your head. Wah! Your legs wobble a bit, and then you throw him. Crash into the shields. Play the other card. Are you there? Oh, no way. I think my internet's about to drop. Can you hear me, guys?
Yeah, I
Yep.
can hear you.
Right, that's okay then. It's just Rastan's connection that's lost. What was the card you was going to play, Rastan? Oh, one of the players have had a internet issue. That'll teach him to move into the sticks. He's got mice nibbling on his wires.
Dar, can't you do something about that?
His pet sheep have come rummaging through his internet.
I can't do anything about that from a distance.
Right. Can you hear us, Rich? Oh, what timing? Hang on. I sent him a message on Discord.
Sorry about that. Right to the wrong place.
That was bad timing. There we go.
Wow.
I'm sorry about that. I was going to play another card after I was going to throw him into the...
Yes, so, okay, so you've thrown him in. You've picked him up and you've thrown him, and this is where we are.
And that's for him. So my thought was he can lose himself in the scuffle of the crowd and hopefully escape, which leaves one left standing.
But 2 alive. Okay, Turnos. You remember hearing the Fabricarian commander shout, Tiberius shout, "The last one alive!" When the man got ran through by the shield wall. Svensson comes bursting out through the wall. And it looks like he's lost. The guards have lost him. You see him as he's trying to start running away. But you can also see the guards all drawing their swords around the shield wall and looking towards Grarkold. Grarkold's about to be slain. What do you do?
Hey, just a sec.
I play a card.
Okay, so, right, Grarkold's played a card.
Yes, okay, I was going to say come to him in a minute. So if you don't mind waiting for a second, Turnos, the card comes first. Go ahead, Grarkold, role play that card.
I am the last one alive. That other guy obviously died by throwing in barrels. And I go and grab up and say, "Now, is this your form of justice?" I look at the general.
Okay. Turnos, I'll come back to that.
Okay,
What do you do?
I happened, wait a minute, I happen to have, over the last few days, improved my appearance with, and so I haven't been looking particularly good with a +4 charisma. And I turn to General Tiberius and I say, "That was a good fight. General, you can hear the exhilaration of the crowd. Honor has been served. Let us not cause the brawl to spread into the crowd. Time now, surely, to an end. Can I do a persuasion roll?"
Okay. Yes, especially now they got them shaken. The situation's heating up. Oh,
shit.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh, what a shame! And no penny can be played.
Right.
What's happened, Turnos? Why is this so critically gone wrong? In your mind, it was going so well.
Well, I mean,
What's happened
I don't
instead?
know.
Oh my God.
Maybe there's a big zit on my face. I haven't seen.
Grarkold, go ahead.
I'm gonna play a card on that.
Oh, go on. Can you rescue him?
Yep, +11.
Do you know, I'm going to allow it. It's a great plan. Great player cards. You've sacrificed one of your card plays to turn a critical into a success. Okay? I think that's fair. Don't you all?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Don't sound all enthusiastic all at once. But
Well, they're all shaking. They're shaking.
they're all shaken. They don't really want to. Now they've got you're armed with a sword. It's complicated things. And plus Fulgrim, they all love him. Fulgrim, he's covered in blood. So he turns and he shouts, "Enough! We have our champions. Let us all feast in their honour. Chieftain Rastan, will you honour us in our feast tonight as champions of Fabritaria and the camp? And we will enter into Valentium across the Elephant River in glory of tales of this great bout that you've had. And you, Garcold, you have won your freedom. There is no need to be interrogated for the crimes that you committed. The murder of free Fabritaриan guard. Instead, you have fought valiantly and chose the right side. So what say you, barbarians? Go ahead, Fulgrim.
I just look up at him covered in blood and nod.
Razan's lost con again. He's going to be swearing. Oh dear. Are you there, Rich, or have you lost connection? He wants to say something. I know it. Yeah, you're basking in the glory. You're covered in blood. Oh, do we wait for Rastan to see what he has to say? No need to put shaken on there, Dar. You would have. No, yeah, you would have come out of that.
Oh, I was just gonna go.
Oh, here he comes.
From the car.
Back again. Sorry about that.
Okay, go ahead. So yeah, did you pick up on the last bit of what was the last part that you heard?
Yeah, batting one to a feast and stuff.
Yeah, so will you join us in the feast, Rastan, in honour of yourself and your barbarians? I think even your people deserve to be fed well.
Of course, Commander. As long as you've got some wine or mead. It's been a while.
Indeed. Go, brush up, have a rest, gather your people. We will honour you tonight, and tonight's feast as our guests. And the people the guards are cheering. Hey! I bet they're calling out Fulgrim's name. Fulgrim! Fulgrim! And Svensson disappears. Okay, is there anything you want to do before the feast? X up in the chat channel, any role playing you want to do amongst yourselves or with your NPC partners, allies, etc. This is the time. So let's switch back to a different track. Go ahead, Garcold.
Thanks, Rastan, Fulgrim, and Dar for helping me prove my innocence, and I kind of sneer at saying but I must go and find my sister and make sure everything is fine. And I nod and venture off. As I do.
I've been waiting for that. Oh, Rastan.
Yeah, I got put my arms around Gargoyles. Glad you're safe. Yeah, I see me. Hopefully, Svensson might be able to get away and get some help here, I believe. You never know with him.
And with that, Garcold takes his leave. Turnos, go ahead.
I'm going to the quartermaster,
Yes.
the regiment, saying that I'm the bodyguard of Princess Alicini and I wish to replace this leather vest with an armoured cuirass.
Yes, he gives you a cuirass.
Okay.
Just replace it, delete your old one, update
I'll
your
do that.
weapons and armour accordingly to nice Legionnaire armour and that. Of
Okay.
course, he says, you need to be well protected to defend Princess. Garcold goes off. Dar, you know he says still Sorry, Rastan and Fulgrim. As you two are clasping and jesting at each other, who's the mightiest of fighters, you notice that Dar is still quiet and distant. Go ahead, Dar.
As they do that, I look back to a bit of my old self, disturbed by the bloodshed. You guys would notice, those that were nearby would notice I would have semi-reverted back to what I was.
Yeah,
As
you
I
seem
walk-
troubled by it, yes.
As I'm walking back towards my animals, head low at this moment. And it
So-
wouldn't be until I see my animals that I actually perk up.
So yeah, you cast a gaze over to Fulgrim. And Fulgrim, you see the solemn look upon Dar, and he turns to walk away. Go ahead, Fulgrim.
Da, have you found him yet?
It's not that. It's the bloodshed. I appall it. I hate it.
I'm sorry, Da. It had to be done. Otherwise, we would have not got Graco back. And we need him for his jangly coins.
More like his cursed coins.
Go ahead, Rastan.
So we got the old Dar back, have we?
Ah, the philosopher.
It looks like it, brother.
He did say after the savages he was going to revert back to his old self. We're not out of the woods yet.
And the three of you make your way back. Yamea is pacing in the tent, backwards and forwards. Carla comes out of the crowd, pats you on the back, Rastan. I heard Sven. He's right, you do punch like a girl. And Fulgrim, you are mighty.
Thank you. I am safe, Umea. I have returned to you.
Ymir smiles, looking relieved.
Rue gets up as Dar approaches. And the tiger walks towards you, bouts her head on your leg.
Rue. It didn't feel right without you there. To him, it doesn't.
He just pads backwards and forwards, rubbing his side against you. Graco, you enter the tent and Bria is in the corner with a couple of ferrets on her lap. You stop. The sight of her is strange. She's laughing, giggling away as they scurry her up and down her body and play. And it warms your heart to see her like this.
Bria,
She looked, Gracold!
how are you doing?
Your mayor's medicine has made me feel stronger. There is hope, isn't there, Gracold? You've been returned to me and you've kept your promise.
I'm relieved that you're doing much better than before. Yes, I am back. I've been found innocent of murder, but I still don't trust them. So please do not stray from your Maya if you can.
She nods. Please never leave me. I'm going to be okay, she says. I know it. And she gets up and gives you a big hug. Aren't these adorable, Gargold? Look at them.
Yes, those are Dar's pets, I believe.
And she looks to you, Dar, and she smiles. Are these yours?
Yes. In fact, I found Kodo and Podo here, and I raised them as young ones.
She reaches out and touches your arm gently and smiles. They've brought me joy in the darkness that has surrounded me. And she touches the bandages where her arms have been gnawed by the cannibals. It's good to see you all back. May I be with them for a while?
Oh, they seem very happy to be with you, and they're very playful and mischievous at the same time.
And with that, the evening goes on. You feast hard and merrily. You jest and even small wrestling matches go out in the night. X up if there's anything you wish to do during this feast, any of you. As you share wine, even Commander Tiberius is sitting there laughing, listening to your tales. Tell us again how you stole the book. Go ahead, Garkold.
When I have a moment and it's just me and Rastan, I tell him that I still don't trust this general. I think this is a ruse for something else.
I'm the same, Garkold. I'm playing along with these silly games at the moment. But something's going to happen. We're going to have to go against him soon.
Well, I say we keep our wits about us and do not drink too.
Yeah, definitely.
You gnaw away at the leg of meat, drinking heartily from the wine and the mead. And you sit and you scour as you look across the hoplites that are listening to tales with Fulgrim, coming up, patting him on the shoulders. May we see you fight again, Fulgrim. It's amazing.
No, I'm done all my fighting now. No, leave me alone.
They laugh. No one can best Fulgrim. No one. Go ahead, Rastan.
A little smirk comes on my face. I look over at Garkold. This is how we do it, Garkold. We win their hearts. Win the hearts of their men. Then we lead them. And I'll have a little chuckle.
Very well. But I still gonna just keep 2 eyes on my sister.
It's just become the gods they want us to be.
And each time the guards are coming amongst you all, clashing their goblets and cups against yours, celebrating. Go ahead, Turnos. Oh, sorry.
Alice.
Yeah, go on. I'll go back to you, Dar. Sorry, I completely missed your ex. Go ahead, Turnos.
No problem.
I have Alicini to one side in a quiet spot to tell me more about the Emperor's son.
As you approach her, you can't help notice Tiberius fawning over Marcella, who is sitting at the table with him, draped on his legs, laughing and feeding while he feeds her grapes.
I say to Alicini, I hope Marcella keeps it up and him up as well. It'll be for the good of us. But tell me, is there something about you told me?
He's a cruel man. Marcus, she says, knowing that the guards are within semi-earshot, even though she whispers conspiringly. He's a very cruel man. I fear what will happen to me when I return to the capital.
I nod and then say, well, we'll be with you all the way. We'll sort this out. And I just then look around the dining table, see if I spot anything out of the ordinary, or I keep a lookout for whether there are any guards poised to assassinate us at the table, but otherwise I just eat but stay sober.
Make a notice check. There are no guards around looking like they're going to assassinate. The guards are actually clapping, and you notice that they're cheering them on. They're kind of idolising the warriors. Each of them are going in and clapping them on the shoulders and celebrating with the 4 champions of the battle. What is it?
Continue to... Yes?
What is it, Marcus, she says. Oh, nearly slipped up. What do you see?
I see that Grarkhold has and Fulgrim have made themselves popular.
What does it mean?
No, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Yeah, so that's all my... I'm
okay.
Just staring into my goblet with a scowl.
And you stay close to Alicini. Go ahead, Rastan.
Yes.
Yeah, so enjoying the merriment, I'm going to go round each of our group, give them a big hug, and just express what I want to happen. Obviously, Fulgrim especially. That we need to win their hearts, and we need to get them on our side, and we can use them against their own. We have a plan.
You conspire amongst yourselves, and you feast on into the night heartily. And eventually, the evening passes, and you all pass out back into your tents, wrapped up in your loved one's arms. But the next morning, you are all, except for Turnos, suddenly dragged from your beds by hoplites, armed to the teeth. You feel dazed. Your heads are swimming. You feel groggy. You've been drugged. You're all able to make out Caledons being chained together in the centre of the camp. Women, children, warriors alike. And you can see it now. Of course. Only one batch of servants fed you drink from a different batch that fed the guards drink. As you feel the biting of cold iron about your wrists, Tiberius steps into the blurry views. People of Caledon, your lives are forfeit. I've told you this. You see, we questioned the Northmen, and we learned of what happened to the patrol sent to your town, and how you buried them in their woods. You are hereby found guilty of murder of Fabritorian royal guards and traitors to the Empire. You are really, really groggy, and you can barely get a sentence out. Roleplay that, Rastan.
I'll just dribble, or I'll spit, but dribble on the ground. So you'll pay. You'll pay for this. You won't get away with it.
You feel your arms hanging up above your head and the chains hanging you below. And even you, Fulgrim, you look across, seeing your mayor in chains. Dar, your animals put into cages. Grarkold, Bria is screaming like a maddened beast as her arms are bound in iron yet again. Distance from you, Rastan, Carla is fighting. She's biting and spitting. They kick her in the gut. They punch her in the face and drag her off. And they repeatedly kick her again and again. Fulgrim.
He's fighting against this drug so hard.
You try and
barely now. Like I'm saying to talk.
Yeah.
So he's barely audible, but he's like trying to say things like, "Get your hands off your mayor! I'll kill you all!" But it's all coming out like,
Traction Tanner, Renner. Go ahead, Dar.
Seeing my animals caged. Everyone would know this. The Oldars came back. I just savagely roar at them, trying and basically going, "Kill!" That's all he can get out. He can't even muster the other words.
You see the warriors are prodding them with spears. Rue is covered with hundreds of cuts, and she collapses. She wails, roars and moans as she's caged, and then succumbs to and falls unconscious.
Can I play a card?
You certainly can, but we're coming to the end. Unfortunately, there are no cavalry to help you. Sorry. This is the end of the game. GM overrules that card. So,
one pass cards late in the game.
Dar.
Well, I got one card that might work.
Yep. The angry mob are the crowd of Caledons. They break free, but they're all drugged and they're useless. Soon they are slain outnumbered by the hoplite guards. You see your own people.
One more card. I'm playing one more card and
slain and hacked to death and before you helplessly. Play a card if you wish to kill more.
Nope. The guy who did all this I'm literally looking at him as my enemy.
Oh, excellent. Let me put that down. As you glare at him. Go on, give him some words of threats and things like that. Make him your enemy. Maybe he's close enough for you to kick. You can kick out and maybe catch him. Role play it. Tell me what's happened.
Basically, as he comes by each of us, I give him one look in a low tone. I will hunt you down, and I will kill you for what you have done. Mark my words. And then basically I knee him in his nads.
He collapses and he winces. Oh! As the guards come forward and they start beating you with their swords. No! He shouts. Leave him. Let him suffer. And he looks to you. You will suffer, I promise, barbarian.
As I go right at him.
And he gets up and he staggers towards Rastan. Did you truly think your conspiracy to massacre royal guards would go unnoticed? Did you truly believe yourself superior to the Empire? You will now learn the errors of your choices. You will all be sold to slavery, and those of you who are not sold will be sent to the mines to work. As he paces backwards and forwards and again stops to Rastan, this time out of any form of distance for kneeing in the nuts, scoffs and says, See, barbarian, you are a chieftain of nothing but rubble and ash. And he looks over to Carla. Your pregnant wife will be sent to the mines. I promise you this. And he smirks at your misfortunes and walks away. Days pass with little food and water. Those who have fall are beaten to an inch of their life. In the distance you see the banners of Atlantium snapping in the wind. Ships sailing along the Elephant River. Oh, I just spat. Trumpets blurt welcoming your arrival, and you are dragged into the streets to be sold as slaves. So ends episode 18 of Beasts and Barbarians, and starts the campaign part Blood and Sand. Blood and Glory, I think. Yeah, Blood and Glory, Blood and Sands, whatever.
One day we'll have a happy ending.
I don't think so. We play Beasts and Barbarians. Oh, you are stripped of every item you have. Everybody but Turnos, can you delete all your equipment?
Are you joking?
Remove.
Right, that's going to take some time because I need to remove lots of spells as well then.
Yep. We can do that at the beginning of the next session if you wish. Okay, I'm gonna close the end to say goodbye to everybody on the live stream, so we can wrap up with experience points, a bit of an end game chat. But thank you everybody for watching, especially the creator of Beasts and Barbarians who's come in and said hello in the chat channel. Thank you very much. That means a lot to us, and I hope that you think we've done your game a bit of justice here. Heads off to the characters, amazing role playing. We had a little bit of combat, but last session it was pure combat, so we needed something to get ready for the next sort of episodes. We've got a lot of combat coming, as you can tell, but we've also got a lot of role playing as well, because it's important to build up the story to make a climatic end, as you all was aware with the Halls of the Mountain Kings. But we'll try and keep it a bit shorter. Okay. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you at the next one. We got Lore live stream tomorrow, which is a different game system, core RPG. We're playtesting that. Please come along, have a watch, send me some feedback, talk to us in the chat channel, get interacting. If you want something to happen in the game, let us know. Be the games master if you want. So see you then, and where is the end? Got to look for the end, couldn't find it. And see you soon. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching.